Morning, y'all. Hey, it's Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. We're going to take a look at our flock of Cornish Rock cross meat chickens. They are in production for poultry, so we get to show y'all great visual examples of the practices that we use to raise Cornish Rock cross meat chickens from start to finish for meat production. I'm actually at home this morning. It's August 12th, 2024. The flock of meat birds is 19 days old, but I'm home for the morning to be available for poultry pickups from the poultry from our previous flock. We had 419 birds that we started, grew, and finished, raised from about June 12th to July 22nd, 2024. That flock turned out really good, really pleased with it. A significant portion of that poultry was sold on reservations, on pre-orders. So we're working with our clients. They're getting orders picked up. And then when we have all the reservations filled, we'll know what's available in inventory, and we promote that locally where we live. But we love being able to utilize the YouTube platform to show our practices as examples and encourage people. If you want to raise your own poultry and produce your own protein, produce your own meat, not have to rely on going to the store being open, what is the store stocking, then we like to show people that this is doable. And raising poultry is probably one of the easiest ways to produce your own homegrown, top quality meat, wholesome and delicious, nutritious food for your household. With poultry, the fact that they're just a smaller animal really makes it easier for us to provide the living conditions and the resources and the time that the animals need to be raised properly in excellent living conditions, and that helps mitigate, eliminate stress in their day-to-day routine. And when you eliminate stress and you provide excellent living conditions for them and their needs are met, then they're able to be raised from start to finish successfully with a great sense of satisfaction for the producer, for the homesteader, for the household, whatever the instance is, that you did that. It's something you did for yourself. So anyway, let's take a look at them. But I am, as I said, I am here for the morning, and it's great. That's one of the best parts of being a farmer, when it's a product that you direct source to your consumer, is getting to actually meet the people who enjoy the food that you produce. So we make the meat here and we make eggs here. As far as the meat, though, we do caveat, we raise the chickens, but we prefer to take them to a processor. And in the case of what we raise, we need to take them to a USDA inspected processor. That applies to poultry. That's a federal regulation. Basically, there are exemptions or exceptions, but we follow the protocol of going to a USDA inspected processor with our chickens at the end of production to get the meat processed. So we have butchered poultry here and have processed our own meat birds here, but at the number of birds that we want to raise at a time, conversely, we don't want to butcher and process that number of birds at a time. So it works for us. But that's another angle of, if you're going to raise your own meat and you're going to choose poultry to be the source of that, you actually could learn how to butcher and process it yourself. It really is pretty manageable. You need to plan ahead for it. You need to plan ahead. You need to have the supplies. You need to have the people. The manpower. You need to have the space to cool it, the meat, and to chill it, to freeze it. So there's some things to consider. But if you're going to do that, just study up on it, watch some videos on it, talk to people who've done it, prepare. The success of executing anything lies 90% in the planning, in my opinion. So let's take a look at these birds. But it's really fun to meet the clients, talk with the clients. So this is really the main reason I wanted to go ahead and do this video and show y'all what we have happening in the pen logistically, and as far as how the birds are using the space. So to start with, we'll tell you, this isn't ideal as far as how the birds are utilizing the floor space, okay? So what we don't like is that they're really concentrated together. So they're using a really relatively small amount of the floor space. They're also heavily concentrating together, and I don't really perceive a risk or a danger to them, but anytime we see meat birds want to clump up like this in these tight groups, we do have a concern that there's going to be a danger. There's a smart bird right there. There's a smart bird right there. There's a couple smart ones right there. There's some smart ones there. Because when we have this, we have a danger that this this flock mentality, sky is falling kind of mood can sweep through some of the birds. So, for example, if a small one decided it wanted to crawl under the bunch of them, it might do that and then be trapped and not be able to get out. Or even if a thriving large one is sitting close to the barrier or the wall and decides it wants out, then it may actually be trapped by the volume of birds behind it and not be able to get out. If one would lose its balance and get rolled over on its back and the other ones pin it down, okay, we're gonna have a suffocation risk. So we really never like to see this, okay? I'm gonna explain why we're seeing this, and I'm gonna explain why I'm not overly concerned about this. But I was also looking at kind of about halfway up that wall. So there's some like standing, they're trying to clump together so much that they're actually standing and pushing on each other, okay? And you can see, we'll follow it up the wall. So we've got them just all against there, okay? We have a place against that short wall across from us where there's no birds. Then there's a few birds. And then we've got them concentrating again over there by that doorway and around this wall, okay, and down here. So why are they doing this, okay? Here's what we want to see. We want to see birds at feeders. We have seen birds at feeders this morning already, but it's about 8:30 in the morning as we're recording this. So the barn has already been checked multiple times, starting like at 6:30 this morning. But why are they doing this? Okay, so that's an easy answer to that, and you may have already surmised it or guessed it. So these birds in general as a flock are saying, hey, we're not warm enough right now. We're not warm enough right now. It's 60 degrees Fahrenheit outdoors, okay? So 60 degrees Fahrenheit outdoors feels super to you and me, especially in summer in rural Southeast Ohio, USA, when we've been having real field temperatures in the daytime of about 100. 60 is like a dream, right? 60 is not a dream to a 19-day-old Cornish rock cross meat chicken, because what temperature does a 19-day-old Cornish rock cross meat chicken want to be? Well, when he was a day old, he wanted to be 95 degrees Fahrenheit. When he was 7 days old, he wanted to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit. When he was 14 days old, he wanted to be 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And so at this age, you know, pushing 3 weeks old, the minimum temperature that the bird wants, Cornish rock cross meat chicken, is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So when we're at 60, we're talking like sweater weather to them, right? They want it 20 degrees warmer than it actually is. So that's a big spread when you're a little bird, okay? So that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing in these birds. So if you see this in your birds, if you're raising these birds and you see this, and doesn't matter what quantity of birds you have, if it's 10 birds and they're piling up, clumping up, staying touching, they're relying on trying to use body heat to stay warm. And they're saying we want to be warmer than the ambient conditions are making us, okay? Now, as our day goes on, it is going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're going to be very happy. And when it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, we're not going to have this desolation in the middle of the pen. They're going to spread out in the pen. But we've already been in here several times and walked around the pen. So these birds have been to the feeders and waters twice already this morning. But now, you know, they've eaten, they've gotten the crop full, and that then the food goes on to be digested from there. And they were exercised some, meaning I just went in the pen and had them move around some, because that of course helps digestion to a great extent. So so they've done that part of the routine, and they're ready to rest, but they also want to be warm, so they decided to just all get together and be warm. But as the temperature warms up throughout today, we will see these birds spread out. So that's why I'm not concerned about a significant risk to these birds. I don't think this is going to be enough to chill stress them, because obviously they figured out, well, if we use body heat and leverage that, then we're warm enough. So because they're content where they are, we just don't want to see them piling up on each other. So they're not, but they're staying close in a single layer. But as the day goes on and it warms up, then they won't want to do that. They won't want to be as close to each other as they are now. They won't want to be relying on body heat, because they'll be just more comfortable in general with the ambient temperature. So we will get those temperatures today, but I thought it was a great opportunity to show you this, because if you're raising meat birds, the best way to evaluate if your birds are comfortable or not and how your birds are doing is just to observe them. What are they doing? What are they showing you? What are they telling you? And it's their behavior that does that. So I am actually going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and open this door up. It's shaded back here. This would be the east side of the building that our birds live in. So you might, I don't know if we'll get any reaction from them as we open this door up, because sometimes when it stops against the wall, no, they're like, nope, this feels good. We're cozy, we're not moving. So as I said, well, there they moved, because I moved. As I said, they weren't stacking up on top of each other. But you can see the difficulty. Like, as that group moved and shifted, these ones in the back were like, whoa, 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 what's going on? But they can't get out. They can't really go anywhere until that layers of birds ahead of them also moves. So as it warms up, though, they'll spread out. And that's ideally whatever space you have. If you're raising meat chickens, whatever space you have for them, ideally you want to see them spreading out pretty evenly throughout the space. And when you see them like dispersed like this, okay, that's pretty good. And look, that's nice. Some went up and went to food. Now we're getting some moving around. And actually, interestingly enough, just opening this set of doors, and I think I was starting to say, it's a little bit shaded here right now, but as the morning goes on, we're going to get more of this direct sunlight catching this back door, catching this east opening, and that'll warm part of this up. And they may not stay in the direct sunlight, but it'll help infuse warmth into that pen. So we love to see them getting up, going to food. Love to see that. We need them to eat. We need them to eat. They got to get the feed in them to grow and finish. So we're glad to see them getting up, going to feed. We just added these 3 feeders and added the feeder that's kind of oddly placed there. Pretty soon we want to get this short barrier wall down of the yellow crates and open this all up to them. And so when we do that, we'll shift this row of feeders over, way over, shift this row of waters over to about where those feeders are, and then put a complete row of feeders in here. We do need to get more feeders in here. We noticed last night that when we were exercising the pen, all of the birds wanted to go to feed. And we didn't, at that time, we didn't have that odd placed one in those 3 in the middle, the feeders. So at that time, the 10 feeders that we had in here, all these birds, they were going to those feeders. All 10 of those feeders had birds circled up all the way around them, like circled up like that, but all the way around them. And we still have birds wanting to eat. And so we had more feeders. We said, whoa, we need to get some more feeders in there, because if the food's there and they have the appetite, which they should, because that's one of the defining characteristics of Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens is heavy appetite. If the food's there, they're going to eat it. If the food is sitting in storage on our pallets, we're not getting it in the birds. So we got to have more capacity to hold the feed in the pen in order to get the birds access to more feed. So we are ready to give them the entire floor space, which will amount to about 25 by 30 foot. But see, even just we're starting to get this indirect sunlight in here. Okay, and we're starting to see birds leave the group. Okay, we're starting to see them leave the outside row that they've created and go toward feeders. Over there, we've got the same thing happening. Okay, and they're getting a little bit of indirect sun over there. And as we get closer to midday, that's when the strong sunlight hits that door. That's the south door. So, but we're also seeing that over there. The body heat's probably rising. The birds are getting warmer, and they're gonna disperse away from that. So moral of the story: raising meat birds, watch their behavior. They'll tell you if they're comfortable, adjust accordingly. Hey, please consider a membership. Thanks for supporting our channel, and we'll catch you next time. God bless y'all.